All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to NOTLLibrary Live Create with Kasia. I'm Kasia. Nice to see you all again. We have about 1 or 2 more minutes before we start just to get everybody logged in, whoever's going to be joining us today. Remember that if you aren't able to make it today, or you can only come to some of the live stream, no problem. We're going to upload it to our social media channels after, so we'll have the video on our YouTube page and then also on Facebook and then on our website. So if you're just tuned in to watch, no problem. If you're going to create with us, no problem as well. We're going to be making the Lucky Ladybugs today. Yeah, so we're going to wait a couple more minutes to get started. Just make sure you have all the materials. Hi, Frankie. How's it going? Good. Sure. Frankie's coming inside. Colin Evie. So just like all of my other videos, as we just had, I'm home with my dogs and my kids, and my husband's home today. So there might be some interruptions. It makes it a little bit more interesting. I think so anyway. So just, I apologize for those in advance if they become a lot more often. But we're going to be making the ladybugs, and I'm actually going to run through our materials one more time before we get started. So you need your surface to paint on right here. You need your covered protected surface that is a safe space to create on. So I'm always using my dad, like it's a drafting table that my dad brought over, and I've already covered it with paint. Actually, I think it looks a lot nicer that way. Gives it some more color. You need your water cup to wash your brush. You need a paper towel to blot your brush when you're done. You need some brushes. So a medium brush is good, and finer brushes of varying size are good. If you only have one of these, no problem. I have my trusty brush. As you can see, I've used it a lot. It used to look like this one, but now it looks like this one. Oops. You'll also need a drawing utensil. That's the only thing I forgot to mention in the what you need graphic that I posted earlier today. So if you don't have a pencil and you're just tuning in now, maybe quickly go grab a pencil. Chalk works as well. If you have a piece of chalk, that's great. You can use marker if that's all you've got. My only concern with marker is especially if it's a washable marker. Sometimes it bleeds into the paint. Sometimes that looks great. Sometimes not so much. Also, if you have a Sharpie, it can work, but you have to be very careful with your lines. Whereas pencil and chalk can erase. We can get rid of them too. We can paint over them. Make sure you have paints. That's important. So you need 4 colors for today. You need red, which is going to be for the ladybugs. You need black, which is going to be for the dots and the details and the background. We need some white, which is going to be for the ladybug eyes, but also to change the tone and the saturation of the greens. So if you only have 1 green, no problem. As long as you have black and white, we can make different tones of green. I happen to have 3. I'm not really sure which one's going to show up the best on the camera, so I have 3 just in case I can improvise last minute. And make sure you are wearing paint clothes. So I'm wearing stuff that I don't mind if I get paint on. I'll sacrifice it to the paint gods, and it'll look even cooler. I used to have a pair of jeans that I wore to my art studio, and I got many questions about where I bought them. And it wasn't that I bought them, it's that over years I wiped my hands in my pants and the colors built up, and I actually ended up with like rainbow jeans in the end, and it was really cool. That's a really bad habit though, so make sure you don't wipe your hands on your pants with paint unless you want to start a pair of rainbow painted pants, which is also pretty cool. Okay, so let me just check the time. It is 1:03. We'll wait 1 more minute and then we'll get started. Also, one more thing, if the connection drops for any reason, I will be back. So I won't leave you hanging. I'll tune right back in as soon as I can. So just take a minute, grab a drink, and make your way back. Also, if you didn't hear a second ago, my puppies, this is playtime for them, usually around 1 o'clock. So if you hear them playing with each other, they have a very strict schedule and they like to do that. So, okay, so you know what? Let's get started. So again, my name is Kasia. I'm from the Niagara-on-the-Lake Public Library, and today we're going to make Lucky Ladybugs. And this is one of the paintings that so many of you voted for. Thank you again. I am still humbled by how many votes we received for these paintings. That's crazy. That's awesome. Thank you for voting. I'm actually going to have the next couple projects for next week up for voting tomorrow. So check our social media tomorrow, Instagram and Facebook. Let me know which one you like. Chances are, if both are well received, we'll do both, but I like to hear what you think about what we're doing that's coming up. Okay, so we're gonna start with the painting, and what we're gonna do is draw the outline of the leaf first. So you're gonna grab your pencil. Hi, Sandra and Grace. So grab your pencil, and I'm going to show you what not to do first. So I have this other little piece of paper. It's good to start with a what not to do step. And I've just made mini versions of my canvas. So this is the exact same size here, approximately. Don't draw a leaf like this. Okay, see all this extra space around here? It's just gonna be black. Kind of boring. We wanna have lots of space for our ladybugs. So when you're drawing your leaf, draw the leaf, whatever shape it makes, as big as your piece of paper or your surface, okay? So not this, but this. So I'm gonna do my little stem in the corner, just like this, so 2 lines. Now when I'm doing these online tutorials and online or live streams, I'm pressing a little harder with my pencil than normal so you can see it. When you're drawing with your pencil, make sure you draw pretty light, because if you've done it before, let me show you. If you press really lightly, like this, I'm like just feather, got feather pressure, it erases no problem. See? If you press really hard, like this, is it gonna erase really well? Well, yes, the lead of the pencil erases, but see how there's still those lines? Because I've pressed so hard, I've actually made indents into the paper, and no matter how much paint you put on, they'll always be there. They're like ghosts, they'll haunt you. So make sure when you're using your pencil, it's nice and light. So you can erase something if you don't like, and paint will actually cover really light pencil better than really thick, strong lines. Okay, so let's go back to here. I made my little stem in the corner, and what I'm gonna do is I'm going to just draw a big wavy pattern all the way around. Is it exactly like the leaf I made here? Nope. Does your leaf need to look exactly like mine? Nope. Leaves come in many different shapes and sizes. You can make it a rounded leaf. It doesn't have to be wavy. You can make it a like a rounded leaf like this. If you want to take up a lot of your paint of your surface, you can make a leaf that kind of goes like this. You can make a leaf that's more like that. It's up to you. Just make it as big as your surface allows, okay? So anything like this. I kind of like this leaf. I wonder what kind of plant it could be from. I don't know. I'll have to think about that. If you have any suggestions or it reminds you of something, let me know in the comments. But what we're going to do, what you need to get done right now, is your giant leaf shape. Okay. Next, we're going to make our ladybugs. So just like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw 3, because it's good to do things in odd numbers. You could do 2, you could do 4, you could do 5, but I think 3 looks nice because it's that rule of thirds. See if I connect the middle spots of my ladybugs and I make a triangle like that. Our brains love seeing shapes, especially triangles. Triangles are very soothing to our brains. I don't know why, but we like seeing triangles. So compositionally, ooh, big art word, this has a triangle and our brains like it and it looks good to us, to our brains, okay? So 3 is usually a good number to do. And if you look, all of my ladybugs are different sizes. These 2 are pointing the exact same way. That's okay. But this one is a medium one, this one is a slightly larger one, and that one's the smallest. So I'm gonna follow my pattern here today. So I'm gonna do a bigger one here, like so. And it's not quite a circle, it's kind of like the squat egg shape, just like that. Okay, and I'm gonna do another one here, and it's gonna be the smaller one. And see how I'm pressing really lightly? That means I can change the lines in my circle and pick the ones that match up the best. And then I'm gonna do a third right here. That's a little, you know what, this one's even narrower. A little different shape. They kind of look like 3 eggs on a leaf right now. All right, so get those 3 ladybugs drawn really lightly with your pencil. If you're doing 5, no problem. If you're doing 4, no problem. But then what we're gonna do next after the 3 circles is we're going to add in the veins of the leaf. So if you tuned in for the last workshop we did with the robin, remember how we made that little branch in the corner? And I said to draw trees, it's like a lot of V shapes. Well, look here. There's a V. 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 Stuff in nature, especially plants, grows out organically. So it kind of makes like a V shape all the time. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to start here on your leaf, so above your stem, and you're very lightly going to make a line. Now, you can go right through your ladybug. Just make sure it's really light because we're going to erase these after. Okay? So press really, really lightly. Then you're going to make a couple more that come out to the sides. Now see how I did 2 here? I'm actually going to come in between those and make one that goes here, and make one that goes here, and make one that goes here. Kind of stagger them or alternate them. So right, left, right, left, right, left. Okay? If you draw through your ladybug, we'll erase it, don't worry. Once you've done these secondary stems, we're going to make some like little twig stems. So I'm going to make one here and maybe make a long one here. Make one here, make one here, make one here, there. So always in those V shapes, just like that. Okay? So it kind of looks like a little tree and a leaf. All right, so put those little secondary stems in. And then after you're done those, you can take a minute and erase all of the center bits, or all the little stems, sorry, that are in the center of your ladybugs. Just like that. It's not that important, especially if you did them really lightly, because we can paint right over them. But the red paint that I have is pretty see-through. It's not a very strong red. Oftentimes red is a really weak pigmented color, which means it takes a lot to make it a true red. So I'm just trying to get rid of a lot of those lines in between. Okay. Also, if you're not sure what kind of red paint you have in terms of how opaque it is, how strong it is, remember, just like every class I teach, this is a practice. Think of this as a practice. We are not creating, well, we are working on our way to creating masterpieces, but this is all about learning. So if you find out you have a red that's kind of see-through, guess what? The video will be up. You can make another one, and now you'll know, right? You will have learned what kind of paint you have. Okay. So we've erased the center, if you've had an eraser. Now what we're gonna do is a few little detail steps for our ladybugs. So I'm gonna start with the big one here. I'm gonna pick which way it's gonna face. So I'm gonna have it face that way. That's gonna be the top of the head. And I'm gonna do a semicircle like that, give it like a little hat. And I'm going to go down, now watch this. I'm going to scoop, down and scoop, just like that. Okay, so this one's gonna be facing this way. So I'm gonna give it a little hat, like so, and then down and scoop, and down and scoop. Okay, now this one is going to go this way. Same thing, down and scoop, down and scoop. See how there's a little bit of a space? No problem, we can fix that later when we go to paint. Okay, so next thing we're gonna do is we're going to add in these eyes, okay? So you're going to follow the side of your ladybug's head and go around like this and like that, okay? So I followed the curve, I followed it along here, and I joined it in like this. So it's kind of like a rounded triangle, right? So we'll do this again here, ready? So curve, down, and across, curve, across, and up. Okay, it just depends which way you start. This one's a little small. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. So we'll just erase that there. Okay, so the next one, last one, curve, down and across, curve, across and up. Perfect. Okay. So I'll give you one more minute to get those done. And then we're gonna start painting our leaf. Okie dokie. Well, it depends. If you have more than one color of green, no problem. You can pick whatever one you think you're gonna be happiest with. I have 3 different colors. I think I'm gonna start with this lightest one. I don't know. It's a nice, bright, sunny, cheery day. I think I'm gonna go with the bright, cheery green. And what you're gonna do is you're going to wet your brush, dab it just to get a little bit of that water off. Take some of your green paint, like so, and you're going to start to paint around your ladybugs, just like so. Now, just like when we did our backgrounds for any of our other paintings, we can add in a little bit of white every once in a while to change the tone of the leaf to make it more interesting. Or I can actually add a little bit of my other, ooh, I like that. So I'm gonna use my 2 greens in my painting today. So just gonna go around all the ladybugs. It works if you use your bigger brush. Every once in a while you can get a little bit of white and work it in. Just like so. You can get a little bit of your different greens. If you want a second green to make things a little bit more interesting, move some of your main green to a new spot. So take a scoop and move it to a new spot. Take a teeny little bit of black. That's even a little bit, so I'm gonna dab a little bit off. And you can mix that into your green. We just want a little bit darker, because see, it's not quite the same. And you can work that into, ooh, that's actually pretty close to that. You can work that into your leaf as well. Oh, look, I went past my line. No big deal, right? As I've always said, don't worry about making teeny little mistakes like that. The beauty of painting is that we can go back and fix them. Okay? So work on painting the whole area of your leaf. I don't know about you guys, but I'm excited to actually see leaves on the trees again. I see our tree in our front yard is starting to bud, which is very exciting. Except, I guess, if you have allergies. My husband has allergies pretty bad, so he's not that excited. Although I think he is excited for some green. There are some lovely little bits of green that are coming through, and like daffodils and other plants that are popping up. Like we have some crocuses. We have a couple daffodils that the buds are getting bigger and getting taller, which means they'll bloom soon. I went for a walk in a wooded area by our house yesterday, and there were some random daffodils in the forest, probably from squirrels who had dug them up and replanted them. And they were blooming, probably because in the forest it's a little bit warmer because of all the trees, right? They insulate everything a little bit. So work on painting around those ladybugs. And if you're just tuning in now, don't worry if you've missed anything. We're going to be uploading these videos afterwards. So right now you can just enjoy the show. You can see what's coming up. That's something I always like to do, is I like to be prepared. So even if I don't always like to jump in right away, I like to kind of see what's going to be happening and get an idea. And then it gives my brain time to process and be prepared for what's coming next. So even if you're not participating, don't worry. It's good for you and your brain to watch and get an idea of what's going to happen. Okay. So there is my leaf with my little ladybugs. Okay. So after that, what you're going to do is wash your brush. Let it dry. Well, not let it dry. You can blot it. And then we're actually going to paint the stems of your leaf. So just give everyone another minute or so to catch up. But if you've lost some of your guides, no problem. Make them up. When we are painting, this often happens that we lose part of our painting, but we just kind of put it back in. It's okay. Your brain sort of remembers where things are. So I'm going into this kind of darker green I've made, but what we're gonna do is make some more of it. So take another scoop, move it to that darker spot, take some black and mix it in to make a darker green, just like so. You know what, that's not dark enough. I'm just gonna take a little bit more. Remember, little bits of black. Because if we put too much black in, it will actually be harder. We'll have to use so much more green to cancel it out. So which means bring it back to where we were. You know what, ooh, is that too much? Nope, okay, that was lucky, everybody. Okay, so we're gonna have this darker green. And then what you're gonna do is, as best as you can remember, you're going to follow with the tiniest tip of your brush where you think those lines were, okay? So when I say tiniest tip of your brush, I mean something like this. So just use the tip. And you know what, I put my pinky finger, I'm not sure if you guys can see that. I put my pinky finger down to stop me from pushing down too hard. Sometimes when people have a brush, they think they have to press really hard and they make lines like this, okay? That looks like a stem, like a blade of grass, but we want a nice fine little vein in the leaf. So I'm gonna go like this. See how my pinky finger is holding the rest of my hand up? And I'm just gonna go like so. Just really fine lines, just like that. If you wanna practice on another sheet of paper before, you can. That's always a good thing to do. So I'm gonna go through and add in my leaves, my veins in my leaf. Oh, look, for sure. I know I didn't put one there, but I just did. So no big deal, right? Okay, so let's see. Ooh, even I'm getting a little bit lost today. Oh, this tulip is in the way. So go like this, and I'm gonna add one here. Why not? And then I'm going to add one here, and like this. Okay. Remember, this is just the background of these ladybugs. It's the background of, it's not the background of your painting, but it's not the important part. The important part of the painting today, the focal point, is the ladybugs. So that's what we want to focus on. Okay. I'm gonna put one here too. And if you think it's missing something, you can go ahead and put in some more. You can connect this one down to the bottom if you like. It's up to you. Just like so. Okay. And we're gonna put a little one here. All right. So the next thing we're gonna do, after you've done your stems, and no rush, I'll go nice and slow for everybody, take a little bit of this darker paint that you've made, move it to a new spot, and then you're gonna take a scoop of the lighter paint, or the original green you have, and we're gonna lighten it back up. So don't worry if you're still doing your stems. I'm not gonna rush this step. You're just gonna take a little bit of the dark that you're using now on your brush, so don't wash your brush. Move it to a new spot. Take some new light green, or the medium green you started with, and mix it together. And then take a little bit of white. And remember, when we're taking white, try to take from the side. If you're paying attention in my other videos, I took right from the middle one time, and it basically turned all my white into gray. So you want to take from the side, so we're preserving the rest of this and not turning it into a light green. And whatever you take, you're going to mix in like that to make a lighter color. And it's not quite light enough. I'm going to take a little bit more, mix it in. That's what I'm talking about right there. The really pale green. And then what we're going to do with the pale green is, using even a tinier tip of your brush, you're going to go just over these a touch, just to get a faint little line on top. So it's not much. I'm not covering what I just painted. I'm just adding a little highlight, just for some interest over top. And it's okay, like if you see here, there's a break in my line. That's awesome. That looks really neat. It makes it look realistic, because in nature, is everything perfect? Nope. Is everything always like finished? Not really. there are breaks in things, there are separations in things, there are lines that you don't think need to be there until you take a close look and like, oh yeah, you know what, maybe it does need to be there. So don't worry if there's breaks in these little lines, just like so. Okay. Sometimes when we layer the same color in multiple tones, it gives it depth. Your painting gives depth to your painting. So even though we're using green and green and green, we're using a light green, a medium green, and a dark green, that is starting to look much more interesting. After you're done those light lines on your brush, you're going to take a little bit more of your light green and just lightly outline your leaf. Just really rough. Even mine, you can probably barely see it. It's just one of those little tricks we can do to kind of give it a little bit more depth and a little bit more interest. And look, are my lines straight? Not at all. And that's what makes it interesting. And I know I keep saying that, everybody, but it's important. A lot of my students, when I teach them or have taught them in the past, you get stuck up on wanting things to look perfect, and there is no such thing, right? It's all about learning and making something that looks really cool. And oftentimes when you're painting and you make a mistake, you're just like, oh, why did I do that? That's horrible. And then you come back to it later and you're like, oh, I actually really like that. Yeah. So sometimes the things that you think you make a mistake in are actually things that you love the most. And I have many paintings like that. Okay. So if you've gone around the edge of your leaf with the light green, the next thing we're going to do is paint the ladybug's wings. So we're going to actually paint them red. The reason we're doing this is because if your red is really thin, we're going to be able to get 2 coats in to kind of thicken up the red. But I'm going to show you a little trick too. Okay. So we're going to take some red, and it's very tempting to just use this beautiful bright red for the leaf, for the ladybug wings. I know. Trust me, I want to do it right now. But what we're going to do is move some of this red over, and we're going to take a tiny little bit of white, just a teeny tiny bit on your brush. Can everyone see that? Yep. And then mix it in. So it'll make like the beginning of a pink. Now we're not making pink ladybugs, although you totally can if that's what you're feeling today. I think that's a really good idea. But adding this little bit of white into the red will actually make it more opaque, which means it will make it less see-through. And then after this layer of pink dries, we're going to go back on top of that with some plain old red, and it will kind of glow a little bit more. It'll be really cool. So my pinky red is getting a little bit dry just because I'm working with this kind of old red paint. It is pretty old. So I'm just adding a little bit of water, just like so. And then what you're going to do, it doesn't matter which one you start with, but you're going to paint the wings. So you're going to take your time and outline these little spots, and you're going to scoop it at the bottom here and then go across. Now, if you accidentally paint on the ladybug's head, don't worry. We're going to be covering that with black, and black pretty much covers everything. Okay? So just like so. So there's one. Okay, so you're going to do that to the rest of your ladybugs. Now, if you run out of paint, do you remember what you need to make this gray, or to make this gray? Oh my gosh, it's not gray, it's pink. Jeez. Too much time at home, everybody. You're going to take red with a little bit of pink. A little bit of white to make pink. Just to make it less see-through, more opaque. Transparent means see-through. Opaque means not see-through. So you can't see, it's not transparent. So we want it opaque. So see how I can still see that pencil line through there? That's okay. We're going to actually cover that with black. So I'm going to do this big one next up here. So you're going to go through, across, like that. Okay. All right. So I don't know about you guys, but I've been really looking forward to these painting classes, these online live streams. I am learning that I really need to get creative and to paint during all this craziness. It helps my brain refocus, and it's kind of like a way of like meditation. It's really, really important for me. Just like my sister, I'm sure her thing that she needs to do would be reading. My boys, especially like my son Sam, his thing would definitely be playing like Lego and playing with his trains. And my son Frankie would be reading as well, and probably any kind of video games actually with numbers I would say it would be his thing. Yeah, we all need something to help us feel like ourselves, and painting is definitely one of those. So thank you all for tuning in and allowing me to work on different projects and be able to create with you. It's been very helpful. Okay. So, painted in your ladybug wings. After that, wash your brush. And then I'll let everyone catch up for a minute. So yes, don't worry if the pink is see-through. It is going to be covered with some more red to just kind of pump up the color a bit. And see these little areas here? We're going to be covering those with black, just like in here. Okay? Now I'm noticing, I'm just looking at mine, I put a lot less black than the space I have here. So what you might want to do if you've left a big spot is just kind of extend the wings down more. Make less of a curve there. Just like so. Okay. Maybe it's just that one that was bugging me. Bugging me. They're ladybugs. Oh dear. Okay. So far we've done the leaf, we've done the stems, we've done not the stems, we've done the veins, we've done the ladybug wings. Let's do the background. Now this is super easy. It's as simple as we were doing, it's a simple step as when we were painting the leaf. You're gonna take some black and you're going to go around the leaf. Now a good tip that I've always shared with my students is to take your time outlining first around the spots that need more care. So take your time and spend all your concentration outlining, and then when you get to these spots, you can kind of go a little crazy. Okay? Another thing that looks really cool in this painting is if you take a little bit of white and mix it in, just like so. It makes the background a little bit more interesting instead of just straight up black. It's up to you. And if you put too much, guess what? You can just go cover it. But what you want to do is remember, spend all your time focused along the edge of your leaf, and then you can kind of go crazy in this open space. So you're kind of creating a buffer for yourself, just like so. Okay? Just like so. Oops, no big deal. Oh look, I got some black there, and I got some black there. No big deal. Oh, see what happens when you paint too crazy? Jeez. Let's see if I can fix that little spot. It's no big deal, everybody. Okay. So just cover everything around your ladybug. Okay, and you know what? I'm gonna add, what's a good idea too, actually, instead of going straight for white, maybe make some like gray in a new spot. I think I might be happier with that. Yeah, like a really dark gray. There you go. And you can follow kind of the contours of the leaf, so any of these curves. Okay, so let's keep going. Yeah, I'm hoping, I think it'll be a little bit before we see some real ladybugs, but I know you're all concentrating on your painting right now, but does anybody know what ladybugs eat primarily? What other kind of little insects? They're aphids. Ladybugs eat aphids. They love aphids. And aphids like to eat plants. So ladybugs are actually very good. They're like on our side. They eat the bugs that eat the plants that we need to eat. Hopefully that made sense. But one cool story I have about ladybugs is that my dad, who is a landscaper, he had a whole bunch of plants. I don't remember what they're called. Anyway, they were on the side of the house. and they were attacked by aphids. They were something that aphids love. Like, I want to say like lupines or something. Anyway, something like that. They were covered in aphids. So my dad, who's a landscaper, was looking at different ways of getting rid of these aphids because he wanted to make sure these plants don't die because they were so beautiful. So actually what he found, is that you can get bags, these little canvas bags about that big, bags of ladybugs, like live ladybugs. To reintroduce them into an environment in order to take care of your aphid problem. So it was one summer day, we had, my dad got a bag of ladybugs from, I'm not sure where they're from. It was me, my sister, and my neighbors. And what we did, the four of us, we each took a turn putting our hand in the bag. They would be covered with ladybugs, and then you would carefully take them out so you don't squish or hurt any of them. And you let your hand go like this, and they would all fly away. And they went directly, well, most of them, I think. They're probably a little disoriented, but most of them went directly to the plants that were covered in aphids. It was such a cool thing. Definitely something I remember from being a kid. The bag of ladybugs. Actually, I think that would be a cool thing once the library reopens, if we could introduce some beneficial ladybugs to our area. I'd have to look into that because I know that there were some ladybugs that were like nipping people. Don't know if that was real or not. So like I said, I will look into that because I don't want to put my hand in a bag of ladybugs that are the nipping kind. So after you're done your background, you can wash your brush. And does everyone see the contrast that's happened? So putting the black next to the green with the red made everything pop. So we've added some extra dimension to our painting by adding a black background. One of my favorite things to do. I love contrast. Any art that has contrast, I tend to gravitate towards. So it always catches my eye. Okay, so we've done the leaf, we've done ladybug wings, we've done the background. What we're gonna do next is we're going to paint around the heads of the ladybug and do some details around the edges. So you're going to use your finer brush for this one. And don't worry, I'll go a little slower. If you have a, see how old that brush is? Oh dear. If you have a really fine point brush or like a old trusty one like me, that would be good for now. If you're only using something like this, a little bit thicker, no problem. If you've got this one, we can make this work too. I'll show you how. But I'm gonna start with this one. And what we're gonna do is take some black, and you don't need to use gray for this, just straight up black. And I'm gonna start with this one over here. And what you're gonna do is outline the bottom. Okay, go around the top like so. Get some more paint and try to use the tiniest tip of your brush and go around the eyes like that. And it looks weird, I know. Looks like he's wearing a crazy hat. And you're gonna paint in between the eyes. If you accidentally paint in the eyes, don't worry because we can always put them back in with white paint. And then you're going to go down the center and around, down and around, just like so. Just like this. And this needs concentration, so I'm sorry if I've left some dead air. I just want to make sure I'm concentrating. Like that. And then you're going to paint in that little spot there. Okay. Awesome. So you're going to do that for all 3 ladybugs. So I'm actually going to go to my next biggest brush to show you how this can work, because you want to use your chisel edge. Okay. So see how I washed my brush, and I'm going to go like this and pinch it flat as I can get it. Now this is an old brush. See how it opens up? We'll see if we can make it work. You're going to take some black and you're going to make a little puddle, and you're going to try to use the tiniest edge of this big brush, just like that. Okay. Now this is a pretty thick brush. I'm not sure if it's going to work. But the thing about if you're using a big brush, and if you come this far and you found out it's not going to work, don't worry. Let the video finish and then we can start again. And then this time, if you only have a big brush, just paint big. Paint like this, as big as you can make it, even on a piece of cardboard, just to practice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here, like so. I'm going to start there. And for this case, in this case, I'm going to use the corner of my brush and I'm going to just kind of work my way across. It's probably not going to be the straightest line I could get, but that's okay. Just like so. And then if you get more paint and kind of push it flat like I'm doing before you start painting, it kind of makes its own like straight chisel edge, just like that. So I'm just taking my time, concentrating, getting that in and finished. And then here. Now, if you accidentally get some of it in this white spot, don't worry, we can paint that over with white paint. And then, sorry everybody, using the big brush, you gotta be able to move your painting around a little bit more. And then you're going to go down the center here, and then curve here. I think I'm running out of black. Add a little bit more to make it a little bit more inky. That's another trick I have for paints too. Sometimes if your paint doesn't want to cooperate, it might just be too dry. So if you add a little bit of water to your paint, ooh, it's gonna be really thick. If you add a little bit of water to your paint, it makes it flow a little bit better. So for me, right now, this one isn't working. I'm gonna see if I can fix my lines with my finer brush and smooth them out a bit. Let's go to my old trusty. See everybody? Art doesn't always want to do what you want it to do, and that's okay. Yeah, no big deal. Maybe there's a shadow under that ladybug. Oh yes, let's go with shadow. So just like so. See why this one is my old trusty, old faithful? Yep. Sometimes you just find a brush that is like the best thing. Hold on to that brush, take care of it. Okay. And then my next one, my last one, is right here. And I'm just gonna use my favorite brush to just go around. Just like so. So for next week's projects, I'm really feeling spring. So I'm thinking about doing, and if you want to like react, if you're not too busy concentrating on your painting, I'm thinking about doing some spring chicks next week. Some really simple, cute spring chicks, and possibly a bunny. Because that was one of the things I had planned for spring at the library in our new Monday makers, and I really still want to do a bunny. So I think that's what we're going to do, everybody. Unless anyone else has other suggestions or recommendations, I'm always looking for inspiration or ideas. Because if there's something you really want to paint, let me know. If I can make it happen, I will do my best to. Okay. So, starting to take shape. How's everyone else doing? Doing good? Ladybugs coming together? Oh, look. Oh, I did one of those bad artist things. I left my brush and my water. Don't do that, because it actually loosens up the glue in this part of the brush, which is called the ferrule. It loosens up the glue and then you lose bristles. So it's a way to accelerate a brush looking like this, although this brush works really good. So maybe it's a good thing. So the next thing is we're going to give our ladybug some little curly antennas. So you're gonna start at the top, go like this, and sometimes when you go like this, your brush will flick. See? So start here and just connect it. So go as far as you can here, one way, and you'll feel when your brush wants to push, like there. Oh, see? That's okay. I kind of like that. And then I'm gonna go like that. Okay, so that takes practice. If you want to practice on a sheet of paper a few times, I'll show you what it does on here as well. So can everyone see this? I'll do some here. So if I was trying to go like this, my brush wants to flick. Oh, of course, that time I didn't. But sometimes my brush wants to flick. See? Oh, it joined. Actually, I kind of like that too. But what you can do is do one spot like this, and then come here and pull it around that way. Yep, go really slow and take your time. So you can practice those as well. So I'm gonna go up and around. And you don't have to curl them as much. If you like them just without the curl there, you can do that way as well. Yours does not have to look like mine. You can make it look however you want. Your ladybugs can be however you envision ladybugs to look. Whatever stands out to you about a ladybug, that's what you can put on there. So I'm gonna go here and around like so, and here and around like so. Okay. All right. I'm just gonna clean up these a little bit too. Okay. All right. So, does anyone want to guess what the next step is going to be on your ladybugs? I'll give you all a few more minutes to do the line work around the heads, but it's going to be dots. It's going to be ladybug dots. And you can put as many or as few dots as you like. You can make them kind of like these so you only see part of it, or you can make a full circle. You can make just 2 ladybug dots like this. It depends on what you want your ladybugs to have. Yeah, it's up to you. Okay. Oh, it's so sunny out. Hopefully everyone's been getting out for some outside time in the sunshine in your backyards or wherever you're able to go. It's so nice to see the sun. Exactly. Okay, well, I'm just gonna have a drink of water. Okay. So I'm gonna get some more black paint because actually I'm running low. Put a little bit more. I don't need too much though. And you're going to use your smaller brush if you have one. And I'm gonna use my old trusty brush. I gotta give this brush a name. Gotta name it something. And then we're going to make some ladybug dots. So a lot of people, when they think of making dots, they learned to use the end of your brush. You can do that. If you like dots that look like this on your ladybug, please do that. It's really fun to do it that way. Just make sure you always have lots of paint. Otherwise the dots get really small. Oh, see that one? You barely saw it. So that's one way you can do dots. The other way is to do the way that I've done them on mine. And we're just gonna draw circles or semicircles and then paint them in. So it's pretty easy. So I'm gonna copy this ladybug for my big one here. So I'm gonna put it right there. Hopefully you can see. And I'm gonna do one here, just like this. And then I'm gonna do one here. And then I'm gonna do kind of like an ovally shaped one here. It's not super circular, more of an oval shape, like so. And take your time. This is probably, second last step, because we still have to do some in the eyes. And then after you do the dots, you're just gonna paint them in, just like so. I need to change my angle, everybody. Here we go. Okay. And then fill this one in, like so. Fill that one in. There we go. Now you know what? This ladybug is a little bit bigger. I'm actually gonna do one more little one down here. Yeah, I kind of like that. Oh, and you know what? Let's go with an odd number. We'll make another dot there. Yeah, I kind of like that today. Okay. So this one, I'm going to make a big dot here. I'm gonna make a little one here. I'm gonna make another one here. And we'll make a bigger one here. That piece of my brush fell off, falling apart. And you know what? We're gonna do one more smaller one right here. Just a little tiny dot. Yeah, kind of like that. You know what? Looking at that small dot, I'm actually gonna put a little tiny baby one back on this ladybug here. Yep, some little tiny ones today. Okay, and my last one, we can do a more traditional ladybug, which is the 2 dots. I could do that. You know what? Today I'm actually feeling to copy the way that I've done these. So make sure, see what I almost did? I almost put my hand down right in that wet black paint. So at any time when you need to work on a different spot of your painting, turn your painting, right? You're in charge of this. You can make changes or change the angle of your painting to make it easier for you to work. Now see how I kind of made that one to look like it connected over that line? Oh, hopefully I wasn't putting my head in the camera. Just like so. Now that one I did pretty symmetrical, so I'm gonna do this instead. I'm gonna go like that. So it's asymmetrical, just like so. Okay, I think this one needs one more little one as well. We'll put a little guy right here. When I was practicing for this painting, it's actually downstairs. I don't want to have to leave you to run and grab it. But I made a whole sheet of paper just covered in ladybugs. So I repeated this step with the black head and the white wing, or the red wings and the white eyes over a whole sheet. And then I just practiced playing with different variations of where the dots would go. It was actually really fun because all I had to worry about during that time was dots. And if I started with one and didn't really like it, I just replicated it on the next one and then changed the little spot I didn't like. So it's a good way to practice. Learning art and finding it easy and getting better at it is all about practice. Practice, practice, practice. Like everything, right? And especially in times like these, it's great to practice that kind of stuff because it's really good for your brain. Even though it's not, formal stuff to learn, it is very good. There are things for your brain that it does in terms of to help you keep calm and think about things differently, and being creative is just great for us all the time. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is the last step, and it's only if you really need this. What we're going to do is take some white and we're going to trace the ladybug eyes just like this. So I'm just going to go around like so. And this will help to get rid of any kind of oopsies you made when you were painting, like that one right there. Kind of clean up some of the rough edges that were like right here. Just remember where you recently did, ooh, that's a lot of paint, where you recently did black so that you're not going to drag your hand through, okay? Because that took me a really long time to learn not to do, to be aware of where was wet paint, where wet paint was, so I didn't drag my hand through it. And again, that's a learning thing too, right? So if you're doing your eyes and you kind of go past one of your lines and it gets bigger, no problem. Like see here, there's a bigger black space than there. All I'd have to do is get more white. If I didn't like it, if you like it, you can leave it just how it is and just extend that. Okay, kind of cleans it up a little bit. So then I'm gonna do this one here. I'm gonna go down and extend that because I lost a little bit because I was using that giant brush like here. And then I'm gonna go up like so. And just cover in those eyes, like so. So in this project, there's a lot of like little steps, but we do the same step over and over, right? So because we have 3 ladybugs, they all have the same pieces. So this is a good practice project. Because oftentimes by the time you get to the third ladybug, you're like, yup, my brain knows exactly what to do. This is not so tricky. And if you don't feel that way, that's okay. We all learn at different paces. Okay. And then these ones. Oh, it took a lot of paint. See if I can extend that a little bit more. Just like so. So guess what? We are almost done, everybody. Just finishing up these ladybug eyes. Just like so. See, now I'm playing around a lot. I'm getting sucked into this project. Okay, so we've done the background, we've done the leaf, we've done the veins in the leaf, we've done the ladybug wings, we've done the dots, we've done the outlining, we've done the antennas, the eyes. We have painted Lucky Ladybugs. Yes, so great job, everybody. I am very excited to see these. So if you have made one or are going to make one, we'd love to see the final project. So please post them on our Facebook page or Instagram and tag at NOTLLibrary in them. If you have any feedback or have any suggestions about future projects or a way that you think I can make this better, I'm always looking to hear from you. So you can reach me at kdupuis@notlpl.org. We're going to be doing these Mondays, and I think starting next Friday. We're going to be doing them. We're going to be sending out a schedule in the next couple of days on Facebook and on our social media channels of all the really cool stuff we have planned. So there'll be something every day for everybody. But yes, we love to see your paintings. Hopefully you had fun. If you were creating or just watching, hopefully it was you enjoyed it. We had a great time. And thank you again for coming. Okay, we will see you soon. See you at the next one. Hopefully you all have a great rest of your afternoon. Okay, bye.